welcome to Sound and Fairy Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing something a little different because Dragons of Deceit, the new Dragonlance book, is out this week. So I figured I would do a video about my favorite Dragonlance books. I'm not going to review the books on here or talk about whether I still think they're good or whether my tastes have changed. This is just a fan video. And let me know in the comments which Dragonlance book is your favorite, because I know it has been... I know a lot of people read Dragonlance. So I mentioned this on various tag videos, but Dragonlance was a huge part of my life between the ages of 14 and say 17. I had only recently gotten into fantasy then, and the first Dragonlance book I read was Dragons of Winter Night. Where is it? Here it is. Not this copy, different version. As I had no idea it was part 2 of a series, and I liked the picture of Kitiara. I'm going to put her up here. She just looked like a badass, and honestly, she is kind of a badass. I always loved Kitiara. People are like, I don't like her. I'm like, I don't know. I always liked her. I identified with her. She was tough. She was the older sister. She had to make terrible choices. She was drawn to evil because of, just she was drawn to power because she had none, and I identify with that as a child of her age, basically. When she started out, she was 15 or 16 when she joined the army. Anyway, I'll tell you guys a secret about Kitiara. When I was 15, I permed my hair to look like hers. I mean, she was like a huge role model for me when I was that age, okay? It was either her or the Sweet Valley Twins, so give me a break. Here's a photo of me with short curly hair. Honestly, I think I pulled it off. I think I look cute. Anyway, I recall reading Winter's Night well into the night, almost until probably 4 in the morning, and I'm pretty sure I finished it. And I'm pretty sure as soon as I finished it, I started it again. I continued reading Dragonlance until I was 16 or so, and I read the new trilogy in the early 2000s. That's this one, Dragons of Winter, Fallen Sun, and this thing, and whatever this is, Dragons of whatever moon. Kind of out of some sort of loyalty, and I read a few of them at random throughout the years. Last year, I read the Damon Saga again for some reason, and it was not the best. But I can't say that I've kept up with Dragonlance since my teens. So it's been about 20 years since I've actually been fully immersed in Dragonlance. But I did save my favorites, or at least the ones I figured I'd want to read again someday, or ones I thought were important. Anyway, here is the stack. I'm going to include the film here. So now you've seen how many I own and what I own, I'm just going to go through my favorites, because I'm not going to talk about every single one on here, because some I'm like, why do I have this one? But anyway, let's get started. So obviously I have the original trilogy. I've got, they're out of order, Dragons of Autumn Twilight. I have these weird covers. I wish I had these covers. So I originally had this set, the matching set. But then I found this one at a used bookstore, and I was like, oh, I want the original cover. So I would love to get the original covers of the other two. Or I don't even know if these are the originals, but either way, I like these covers the best. By, who designed these? I don't know. Whatever. So anyway, I've got those, obviously. The second is the Twins trilogy. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I don't really like these at all. I think I've only read them maybe twice. I can't stand Cristania, whatever her name is. What's her name? Yeah, Cristania? Whatever. I can't, and I don't like her at all. I found her very annoying, and I found that the trilogy was quite plotting. Maybe I'd appreciate it now that I'm older, but I don't think I'm ever going to bother reading them again. The Dalabar and Kitiara together were a bit of a sexual awakening for me, but that's the only thing I think that I enjoyed of the entire trilogy. I just was not into the whole thing here. I don't know. It was time travel-y, which was fine, but as you know, time travel isn't my favorite trope. So yeah, just no, not these. That was just kind of a joke. But I figured I had to talk about them because I know a lot of people really like the Twins trilogy, and I know. Number 3 is the Soul Forge. Holy crap, I read this one probably 500,000 times. I think I read it most of all of the books because I loved it. I kind of want to read it again to see if I still like it. I don't know, because I can't remember anything of it now. I know it's all about him as a young boy, and then Kitiara's in it a lot, and then how he gets to the tower. But I also have the sequel, Brothers in Arms or whatever, which is not bad. But this one I liked the most. I loved this one. I think because they were younger too, and I identified with that when I was that age, because they were about my age when all the stuff all shit was going down. So yeah. Next, and these I will never get rid of, and these are anything to do with the Draconian bridge builder guys. I love those lizards so much. They got me into military sci-fi fantasy actually because they are a military unit, and I always liked that aspect of their stories. I have their main two stories, which is the Doom Brigade, and then Draconian Measures. But I also have all these little short stories where they're featured. So in the Dragons of Krynn, they have the First Dragon Army Bridging Company is their story in there. They're also in the Dragons at War. The story in that one is the First Dragon Army Engineer's secret weapon, and then Heroes and Fools to convince the righteous of the right. Look at the little baby Draconian, it's so cute. I'm not very good at zooming in with this thing. So yeah, that one. Basically, I really like their story because they're kind of outcasts and they're trying to find a place in this world that doesn't want them. And also they're lizards, and I have a thing for like reptilian like aliens, and so they're close enough. And yeah, so I just like loved their stories. I just thought they were so interesting, and I really like the kind of military aspect of like the original little short stories with them in them. They're just fun. I don't know, they're really fun. And lastly, I have these collection books mainly for these short stories. So in Love and War, I really liked the poem Hunting Destiny. I liked the story A Painter's Vision, I think mainly because I was like 14 and it had this like sexy picture. And I was like, ooh. And then the story Graceland's Daughter, which of course is not considered canon, I don't think. I don't know. There's a whole thing about that, I think. I don't know. This was like before even internet forums and stuff. People, like, I got all my information about Dragonlance from like weird websites. I also loved this collection of the War of the Lance. As you can tell, it's bent because I read it a lot. The covers are really cool, so you can these old school covers. The ones I liked in this one were War Machines, and then the story that Taz promised you'd never tell. That one was pretty cool. That's like the titular story in this collection. I liked this Reign of Istar one because there's a story called The Goblin's Wish. That's pretty much the only one I really liked in this one. It's a really interesting story. And then this main story too, I can't remember. And then Silken Threads, I liked that one too, which I think is continued in this one, because in this book, The Cataclysm, I think it's their story again, True Night. I can't remember if True Night was the first one or if you would think that this one would be the first one because this is chronologically before this, but I don't even know. And then there's also a really cool one called The Cobbler's Son in this one as well that I liked. It was kind of like a comedy one. So yeah, those are like my favorite Dragonlance books. I haven't read any of them in probably 15 years, but I love them. They have, a place in my heart always, and I can't wait till my kids are old enough to read them because I can be like, look how many I have. I have the originals. I have this terrible trilogy. I have a whole bunch of these weird lizards, and they're gonna be like, what is wrong with Mom? And I'll be like, you already know I'm weird. So yeah, that's the Dragonlance collection of mine.